In this video, we are going to talk about 10 types of safe or 10 types of safety that you needed as a child, and you probably missed a few if you have the fearful avoidant attachment style. I am Pauline, and I am so happy you are here because this is such an important topic, and knowing which types of safety you missed as a child, it can really help you heal now. So let's dive in. The first one is emotional safety, and this in the core means, were your emotions safe to be expressed? So when you were angry, were you allowed to be angry? Could your parents react to that in a very calm and loving manner? It's same for crying and being sad. Same for being really happy. Some parents have their own pain, their own triggers around being really happy. So you fully expressing that can trigger them, and that can trigger a reaction in them that makes you feel like your happiness is not allowed to be there. So it's the negative emotions, but definitely also the positive emotions. Were your emotions safe to be expressed? The second one is tension safety. And this means, was there tension in the house? Was there a lot of fighting, even just between parents? Not necessarily aimed at you, but between parents, or maybe between siblings, your parents and your siblings. If there was a lot of tension in the house around certain subjects or around certain people, it might cause that feeling of constant unsafety, because children need and children thrive in just a calm and loving environment. And if there's tension in the house, even if it's not directly pointed at you, directed at you, it can really lead to feeling very unsafe. The third one is feelings safety. And this means, was it safe for you? Did you learn that it was safe to feel your feelings? And this is different from emotions. So emotions, the safety around emotions was more around, were you allowed to express them? Was it safe to express them? But this is more about, did your parents teach you, or did they model to you that it was safe to feel anything that came up, everything that you felt in any moment? And this, your parents had to feel safe feeling their feelings in order for them to model it to you, or in order for them to teach you. So it could be that you expressed verbally that you felt a certain way, and they would diminish that. They would say, "Oh no, don't feel sad, don't feel anxious. It'll all be fine." And that made you feel like, "Oh, I'm not allowed to feel these feelings." So were your parents able to make feeling your feelings feel safe? That's a lot of feel in one sentence. The fourth one is predictable reactions. Were you safe in knowing that your parents would always react in a certain way? So sometimes, especially parents of fearful avoidance, can be very unpredictable in the way they react to certain things. If you break something on one day, they can be just completely loving and understanding and have a lot of patience, and then the next day they can get really angry. And that unpredictability, it's the same thing that happened. You broke a glass and you don't know what their reaction will be. That can definitely cause unsafe feelings. So that causes you to always kind of like be on the lookout. What's it going to be now? So that was the fourth one. The fifth one is signals safety. As a child, you always send out signals to your parents. You always do bids for connection, for instance, and that can be, "Mommy, look what I can do." It can be going towards your parents, touching their arm. I'm just making up things here, but bids for connection is any way in which a person, a child, asks for connection, and it's not verbally asking. It's in a myriad of ways, so many different ways. But did your parents understand those bits for connection? Did they understand those signals that you want a connection? But also the signals in the sense that when you are a child, did they understand when you were hungry? Did they understand when you were tired and you actually needed to sleep? And a lot of parents really try their best in this, I think. But some are just more adept at this than others. And it could be that the signals that you put out, whatever they may be, they didn't really get picked up by your parents. And it could be because your parents didn't see it. It could also be because they were just very busy or their head was just somewhere else. But when you put out signals and they are not being picked up by your parents, the people that are supposed to care for you, that can feel very unsafe as a child. Then the sixth one is boundary safety. So as a child, you naturally put up boundaries. Every child does that. But was that safe to do? Did your parents accept that and respect that you did that? Or did they kind of make you feel, because they felt that way themselves too, that having boundaries is selfish and it's just not something you do? So being able to put up boundaries, it has such a big impact on feeling safe. So whether your boundaries were accepted, were listened to, were honored and respected, that says a lot about how safe you can feel in relationship with other people. And then the seventh one is connection safety. So this means, was it possible for you to rest in connection with your parents, to really relax into connection with your parents? A lot of parents, and especially fearful avoidant parents, which if you have this attachment style, your parents probably, one of them at least had this attachment style too. They are just as afraid of connection as you are. So when a child, completely open and pure and vulnerable, comes to them wanting connection, because that's such a natural thing to do for any human being, it can be very triggering for them. And chances are that they had no idea what was exactly triggering. But it could be that you just felt that tension that they felt, even though they really tried to hug you and relax into that. It could also be that they retreated or lashed out or made a remark or became critical, just to break that connection, just to push you away a little bit so that they felt safe. And they didn't know they were doing this. But if it wasn't safe to really relax into connection, not wondering when is this going to stop or when are they going to lash out, that has an influence on connection safety. So that's also something you definitely need as a child. And then the eighth one is, this is not a good name, but being taken seriously safety. So when you had a problem, whatever problem that was, whether that was big or small, did they take you seriously? Did they really listen to you? Um, did they see it a different way, and was that more important? So being taken seriously as a child, and I think a lot of parents tend to have trouble with this because there's just so much responsibility as a parent that you have on your shoulders, and you can't always have the mental capacity to always make your child feel heard, or feel taken seriously. But if for the most part your parents really did take you seriously, and if you had your first heartbreak when you were 6 because the boy or the girl in your high school, or what is that, lower elementary school or something, they kind of broke your heart because they said they didn't want to be with you or want to be seen with you, did they take that seriously, or did they say, ah, yeah, that's just, baby love or whatever you call it? For you, that was big. That was a lot of hurt, probably. And so it's very important for kids to be taken seriously no matter what it is. So did you feel safe that whenever you had something and you would go to your parents, that you would be taken seriously? Then the ninth one is reality safety. And this means that when you remembered something in a certain way, or even maybe now, when you remember something in a certain way from childhood, is that just taken for truth instantly, or is that debated? I remember so well that I noticed this with my mother and father-in-law, and my sister-in-law was saying something about her childhood, and my mother-in-law didn't remember it, but just immediately said, "Oh, really? Oh, wow, that must have been hard." She just completely accepted that to be truth, even though she didn't remember it. Where I always had the feeling that if my dad didn't remember it, I had to debate it. Like, I had to fight for my reality. I had to fight for the fact that I remembered that. And I really don't think he meant it that way, but it just always seemed that if he didn't remember it, it was almost like it didn't happen. So this is so important. Is your reality just taken as truth, just without conditions? Um, or is your parent always looking where you might be exaggerating or making things up? Some parents are just very focused on that because they always want you to be truthful. And this is just the intriguing thing, right? If this is what you experience a lot, you start exaggerating things because you just want to be heard, you just want to be taken seriously, you just want to be um you just want to know that your reality really existed, and you want just some confirmation of that. So reality safety is definitely also important for kids. And then the 10th one is time bomb safety. And this means, did you have the feeling that somebody in the house, it could be anybody, could just explode out of nowhere in any moment? And this is very unpredictable, which is hard for kids because they need predictability. And that's where your fear brain, especially in a certain time period, when you were between 2 and 5 or 2 and 7, that's really what your little fear brain needed, just predictability. And if that's not there, and your parents, or maybe it was a sibling, could just explode in any moment, that's really unsafe. That's a really unsafe feeling, and that can make you feel, when you're an adult now, as if there's like this sense of doom, like something bad, explosive is going to happen. And you're always kind of on the lookout for that. So these are the 10 types of safety that you really do need as a child. And when these are not there, you just take it upon yourself to protect yourself. And so you start being really alert and always on, or hyper vigilant, as that is also called. So your fear system is just turned on, and that is the start of your fear brain. That is the start of your unsafe feeling, a feeling that you always have to be alert and always be on the lookout. So what does being safe actually mean? It means that it feels safe to feel safe. And I know that sounds crazy, but when it's not safe for you to let go and to feel safe, that's when you know that your fear brain is active, and that you just missed some kind of safety in your childhood. Doesn't mean that you have to carry this on into adulthood for the rest of your life. But when you do feel safe to feel safe, you will notice that by being able to completely go into a place of flow. How do you say that? Just completely lose sense of track of time, I guess, and surroundings, and just really um, dive deep into whatever you're doing in that moment. It also means that you will be able to deeply relax into your body, out of your head and into your body. And it's also just knowing that whatever you do, you will always be loved, you will always be supported, you will always be protected, and you will always be taken care of. And this is so important as a child and as an adult. So you know that these things are not there when you just keep getting pulled out. Whenever you're concentrated, you're working on something, it's almost like we had an oven for a while I was living together with my now husband, that just pinged when it was done. So it made this pinging sound, and I would be doing something else, and all of a sudden the oven would start pinging. I was like, oh yeah, I had something in the oven. And I would go and get it out. That ping is what it felt like when I was concentrated, and then it felt like I was just being pulled out by a ping. I was supposed to worry. I was supposed to be thinking of something. I was supposed to be alert. I'm not allowed to just relax and really let everything go and just focus on one thing. So another sign of, knowing that this safety is not here is that you always feel like you have to worry about something. Just it always has to be something. And one day it's your relationship, the next day it's the fact that your friends don't like you. It can just jump from problem to problem. You always have to worry about something. Another thing is that you're always on, like I said, you're always hyper vigilant, really scanning the world or your surroundings for problems. And your surroundings, it can also be in your head, like scanning your life. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything that could go wrong potentially? And also not being able or not daring to trust that everything will be fine, because that can feel so unresponsible. Is that a word? For a fearful avoidant, like you're not being responsible. All right, so those were the 10 types of safe that you needed as a child, and you probably missed a few as an adult or as a child when you have a fearful avoidant attachment style. I am super curious which one of these you recognize. Put it in the comments below. Please let me know whether this was also like new, whether there were new things. I know that when I kind of distilled this and figured this out, that there were actually so many different types of safety that just made so much sense, where I would feel safe in one point, in one area or one way, and not safe in another way. So it really helped me. I really hope it helps you. If you really just want to feel safe in the world, and I so wish that for you, because man, life is just so much better and so much more fun when you do feel safe. This is definitely what we go into in the online program that is launching, or maybe even has launched when you watch this video. So check out the description. It will be there whether it has launched or not. And we will go into feeling safe, and you will start feeling more and more safe, so that you can just enjoy your life way more, that you can let go and deeply relax and be in the moment and be completely present, because life is just worth it and you are worth it. I am so happy you are here.